Hey yo. So I want to talk about this guy named Donald. Yeah, yeah, that name, Donald. Donald Huffines, though. This one is Donald Huffines. He is a huge Trump lackey and sycophant. Okay? He's on the Texas midterm ballots running for comptroller of Texas. He bought Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. Alright, with him being directly connected to Trump. And then you got that piece of shit Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, trying to appoint, well, not necessarily appoint, but promote him as comptroller for Texas. Okay? Considering that Greg Abbott and him, Don Huffines, are buddy apparently, because of Greg Abbott trying to support him in the race and try to get him elected. That tells me, obviously, that Greg Abbott is buddy with Donald Trump. Okay, so get this, and I've been knowing this for a while, I just haven't talked about it, and I've been meaning to. Don Huffines is wanting to turn Zorro Ranch into a children's Christian retreat. What kind of shit is that? Zorro Ranch is one of the locations that was used as sex trafficking place. They're supposed to be, by everything going on that's being shared online and talked about, there's supposed to be two girls buried somewhere at the foothills of the mountains near Zorro Ranch. Okay, that's going to take a lot of excavating because there's a whole lot of mountain out there. But there's supposed to be two blonde girls that are Swiss girls. That's what I'm reading. That's what I found out several months back. Okay. The Donald Trump, Donald Trump had DOJ stop the investigation into Zorro Ranch in 2019. Okay? Now, then you have Don Huffines that purchased Zorro Ranch in 2023. So you've got 2019, alright, and then 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. You got 4 years that anything could have went on to clear Zorro Ranch out to keep anything from being found at Zorro Ranch that would implicate Donald Trump, because he was tied into Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? Then you got 23 when it was bought by Don Huffines, 24, 25, and now we're 8 months into 2026. About 4 months ago, I guess, I'm guessing about 4 months ago. Alright, right around, sometime around that time, the investigation was reopened into Zorro Ranch. So you've got the 4 years that Zorro Ranch was left sitting. Then you got the 2.5 additional years on top of that, giving it almost 6.5 years, give or take, that anything could have happened to clear Zorro Ranch out. Anything. Trump spends more time and more energy trying to hide what he's done and what role he had into the Trumpstein files, and that's what I call it, Trumpstein files, because his name is implemented in those files in the first 2.5 million that was dropped. He was implemented 1 million times. Okay? His name is in the files. Period. Point blank, full stop. Alright? There is no way that you are in files like that unless you've done something and been a part of it in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay? Like I said, Greg Abbott is trying to appoint Don Huffines, support him in his campaign to become comptroller. Alright? Now, the cash on hand that Don Huffines has is $1,089,133. Total contributions is $13,198,959. And the total expenditures was $20,166,856. Okay? He is running to continue to be Trump's sycophant, to bring Trump's leadership and sense of urgency into Austin as comptroller. He will doge Texas, audit government expenditure and fraud waste. Well, if he wants to investigate fraud waste, how about we start at the top of the mountain with Donald Trump? How about we do that? Let's start at the top of the hill where the shit starts. Okay? And then he wants to return the savings to taxpayers through real property tax relief. In Texas, okay, I can only speak for Texas, but anybody that pays property taxes on a home and probably even on a business, those taxes, some of the money goes to help fund our public schools. They are purposefully and intentionally trying to defund our schools. And the reason for that being is if they can defund the public school system as much as they possibly fucking can do to cause the public school system to have to shut their doors, they are slowly but surely trying to force people to send their children to a privately funded Christian school, which the parents have to pay a big percentage of if there's not any vouchers. Those private Christian schools were originally designed back in the day to keep white kids from being integrated into a public school system once the slavery had been abolished. They didn't want their white children to go to school with the African American community. Okay, that is what those schools were actually made about. So that, in my opinion, I do genuinely believe that's what they are slowly trying to get to happen. Force everybody to put their kids in a private Christian white nationalist school system. And 75% of these parents can't afford to pay the cost of those damn schools. Those schools are thousands of dollars a month. And by law, if you don't have your child in school, you fucking go to jail. That's just the way it is. And to give y'all another little tidbit of information, there's a direct line into Trump's orbit. Russell Huffines, which is Don Huffines' son, serves as Associated Director of Agency Outreach in the Trump regime. Okay? So here we go again. Quid pro quo. I'll fund you, but you gotta buy Zorro Ranch. Trump, in my opinion, thinks that because somebody else bought Zorro Ranch, it will take it out of sequence and stop it from being investigated from when Epstein owned the house, the ranch. Stop it from being investigated from when the estate owned the ranch after Epstein was supposedly killed. Genuinely, in my opinion, I don't think he's dead. I think that's another reason why that Donald Trump could be hiding part of those Epstein files, because personally, I genuinely don't think he's dead. I really don't. That's just me. That's just me. And since Elon Musk don't know how to get his unwanted nosy ass off my channel, I'm gonna let him know right here, right now, I don't fucking like you. Get off my channel. You are nothing but a sorry ass piece of shit. And that's how I feel about you. Get the fuck up off my channel. You're not wanted here. Congress shall make no law representing an establishment of religion, okay, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That is the separation of church and state. Religion has no place in school. And my child will not participate in that, and you will not shove any religion down my child's throat. Fuck you. Or abridge the freedom of speech. Let me say that again. Or abridge the freedom of speech. Or of the press. Or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That right there covers anything and everything I say on this video or on any other video that I make. So let's make sure you understand that. You like people getting deported, Elon Musk? You like the way these people are being treated inhumanely? How about you get the fuck out of our country? You're not from here.